You might remember a fun little indie game I covered a couple of years ago called Roguelike DX. Well, the developer behind the game, Tikipod Ltd, have released a brand new title called Crypticle. Is this another solid arcade title, or do the roguelike elements detract from the experience? Let's take a look. Like Roguelike DX, Crypticle is essentially an improved and updated version of a previous title named Fisticle, which was released on the PC back in 2014. Crypticle boasts enhanced graphics and gameplay, similar to Roguelike's and its DX variant. The plot of the game is rather simple. You play as one of 4 knights, and while relaxing in the throne room of your king, suddenly all of his golden food is stolen, leaving only a crater in the room. The player then leaps into said crater to retrieve it, along with a cat which we'll get to later. Now, I don't know about you, but this knight has a striking resemblance to Arthur from the Ghosts and Goblins series, and I'm certain that this is intentional. Right off the bat, Crypticle reminds me of games I'd often see in arcades when I was a child. Titles such as Smash TV come to mind. With its one-screen rooms and chaotic gameplay, trying to desperately focus on shooting what's around you whilst dodging enemies and projectiles. Now, as expected, the game is a twin-stick shooter. You move with the left stick and you fire and aim with the right stick. It's become quite the staple in modern indie games, and there's nothing wrong with it. I mean, it's a solid gameplay style that works. You also have a super move known as the Atomic Fist that devastates all enemies in the nearby vicinity. And a dash move that not only allows you to get out of harm's way, but also damages enemies as you pass through them. There are also RPG elements at work here, with the player leveling up over time, which increases the amount of hits you can take before dying. You can also acquire items that can upgrade one of the 4 stats: movement speed, weapon damage, fire rate, and special weapon duration. Some of these items can be purchased from a shop operated by the cute little cat that leapt down into the depths with us. Adorable feline characters seem to be quite the trademark of Tikipod. Among the random enemy drops and within chests are different weapon pickups of varying degrees of speed and damage. One of my personal favourites has to be the arrows. You go from a slow firing axe attack to a full-on automatic assault. It feels damn good. However, special weapons do run out after a certain amount of time, but the timer for these does not begin to deplete until you make your first attack with them. Other items consist of special weapons, coins that are used for purchasing items and playing the arcade minigames, a map showing the floor layouts, special magical scrolls that can give the player a few short-lived perks, runes, and special gems. Both the runes and special gems have their own benefits. If you successfully spell out bonus with the runes, all enemies on screen, and I do mean all enemies on screen, will be instantly vanquished and replaced with bells that give you 500 points each. When collecting all the gems, the enemies will be replaced with rainbows that go for about 1,000 points a pop. The player is also given a temporary extra hit / shield and additional firepower until they next take damage. To progress throughout the floors, you must rid a room of enemies before continuing, and the game encourages you to clear rooms as quickly as possible. If you linger around too long, unkillable enemies will begin to spawn. They're not particularly fast moving, but they do fire projectiles. It might not seem too bad, but once you have multiples of them spawning in the same room, combined with the regular enemies, it can make things a little tricky. There's a semblance of choice when journeying on, with multiple pathways to take throughout the floors. If you're fortunate enough to pick up a map early on, you can plot out your journey, avoiding the more difficult rooms whilst heading towards the shops and minigame rooms. The more challenging rooms do, however, drop better items and more cash, so it's sort of a risk and reward system in that regard. Just be careful in the cemetery, as breaking tombstones can lead to the spawning of unkillable spirits. The minigame rooms allow you to play a short and simple arcade game for 10 coins. Here you must collect as many coins and pieces of food as you can before a giant grinder catches up with you, while later on down the line you have to bypass enemies that kill you in one hit as well. If you do die, you can try again for another 10 coins. It should be noted that once you successfully complete the arcade level, you cannot play again until you find another room either on the same floor or the next. So really you need to try and grab as many coins as possible in the arcade minigames. The sound design is good and the music is, well, decent, it's okay. It's more ambient than anything, and there's nothing really particularly memorable. Which is a good thing too, since the sound of your heart beating when low on health is so damn loud, it can become a little irritating, but just think of it as an added incentive not to get hit. As mentioned earlier, the game is roguelike. If you die, that's your lot, and you go straight back to the beginning. The further you get, the more special weapons you can unlock, which can make other playthroughs a bit easier. You can also have up to 3 players join you for local co-op, which can really mix things up. Like all good roguelikes, the floor layouts change each playthrough. Additionally, you do not fight a linear list of bosses, with these also being randomised, and then there's stronger variations of them seen later on in the game as well. After defeating a boss, you'll have a ton of food and items to pick up, as well as a piece for the king's stolen golden food. There are dozens upon dozens of items to collect throughout the game, all of which can be viewed in the game's ledger. Each item also has its own descriptions, with some actually getting a juggle out of me. Most of the collectibles involve food types of some varying kinds. If you collect the same item in a row, you'll gain a points multiplier, which can lead to a small smidgen of strategy. In my opinion, Crypticle was yet another successful and fun arcade title from Tikipod Ltd, a developer that has only further shown their ability to make quote-unquote old-school arcade-style games, while sprinkling enough from the modern generation to keep them fresh. Tight controls and some wonderfully charming pixel art make for a title I found myself lost in for far longer than I anticipated. Initially, I didn't really feel like I was gelling with the game particularly well, and I wasn't enjoying it that much. However, after a short amount of time, I managed to get to grips with the way the game played, and in the end I was having a blast. The Nintendo Switch already has the likes of Shovel Knight, Master Blaster Zero, and The Binding of Isaac, and this is a game that I definitely think should be added to that library. It's a perfect pick up and play title and would feel right at home for the system. If you're itching for a challenging arcade adventure that's similar to the likes of Smash TV and Robotron, complete with RPG elements, then give this a look. Once you get past the slight learning curve, you'll have a lot of fun and you could play a hell of a lot worse. Crypticle is currently available on the PlayStation 4, Xbox One and PC. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have to go and eat. This game is maybe unbearably hungry.